Rachel.
And I'm Christy.
And we're the Clarity Girls. And we've had kind of a couple of rough weeks. And we've noticed that clients have had a couple of rough weeks. So if you're part of that, crew that's understanding why Brittany had her 2007 meltdown, this is the video for you.
Right. So the past few weeks have left me in the fetal position on a pretty regular basis at the end of the day.
Feeding chocolate down your throat.
Not good. Not good. So, but I'm ready to shift that, and we're ready to help you guys shift that.
Absolutely. So I think that, first off, know that you're going to get through it. Know that everything in this world is temporary, and that the feelings that you're feeling are temporary, the situations that don't look promising are temporary, and that things can change within seconds of your current state right now.
Right, and so it doesn't necessarily always feel like they can just change,
no.
But, sometimes when we feel things, that doesn't mean that that's the reality, and just if you can allow yourself to have a little bit of hope that this could get even just a little bit better, you're going to start to feel better.
Absolutely. I think one of the big red flags about having a bad day or having a couple of bad days is really checking in with if you're in alignment with yourself and making sure that you're listening to that inner voice and not everybody else's voice or what's expected of you or what you should do or what other people want you to do. Because I think that's where we get really out of alignment, and that's where things really get crappy, because our inner voice is being like, hey, what the hell, like, I'm here, you should be listening to me and not everybody around me.
Right, and when you're obsessing, by the way, you can't hear that inner voice.
No.
Just a little tip. So doing your best to let go of that obsessing. And also I think it's a sign that, when we're off track with our, those little things every day that we do that to take care of ourselves or that help us to feel good. Sometimes life happens and we get off track with that. So sometimes we're feeling bad because we're not doing those things anymore.
Yeah.
So it's really that sign that we need to incorporate them back into our day, whether that's meditation or exercise or whatever that looks like for you.
And going back to the obsessing, I always do the 3-day rule. Like, if I've been obsessing about something and haven't gotten anywhere with it other than like feeling like absolute crap, I give myself 3 days off from thinking about it. So every time I start to think about it, I'm like, nope, I can think about that in 3 days. And typically in 3 days time, I get a lot more clarity on the situation and my role in the situation. And I think it just kind of works itself out, and I feel a lot better. So it's like magic. But, in terms of the self-care and keeping up on the self-care, make sure you're doing positive self-care, because what we do when we have bad days is we start bitching about our lives and complaining on Facebook and reading stuff about how other people have also experienced this shitty part of their life, and we kind of gather up all the crap into one spot and are like, wow, everything really sucks.
Right, so it's just negativity, and it breeds more negativity and negative thoughts, and those negative thoughts create negative things in your life.
Yep.
And it's kind of a yucky downward spiral, right?
Yeah. So it's about switching your thoughts, finding the next best thought. If you can't go from, a Debbie Downer to a positive Polly, like, that's fine. I can't either. Some days I just have to cut my losses and go to bed.
Right.
Set my intention that tomorrow is going to be way better than today was.
Right, so it's okay to just say, you know what, I'm cashing in, I'm going to bed at 8 p.m. Because you know what, probably tomorrow's going to be better when you wake up.
Yeah, let it be a bad day. Don't let it be a bad week. Don't let it be a bad month. You can stop that cycle and decide, I'm going to bring my energy into the now. Because really, anything in your now situation is probably not as bad as what's in your head that you're creating or what you're obsessing on.
Right. I think you have to learn to have faith and to trust that the universe, that God, whatever your higher power is, has your back, and that this is all probably purposeful.
Yeah, it is hard to connect the dots, looking at it like when you're like, knee deep in like hell. It's really hard to connect the dots and be like, oh, I completely understand why everything is falling apart. That makes absolute sense to me. It won't. It's gonna make sense when you have that like aha moment, like, oh, I get why, that didn't work out with that guy because now he's in jail because he got arrested for a meth lab, or whatever the case might be.
Or whatever that looks like for you.
Or whatever that looks like for you. But so just understanding that it will have a point at some point, and trusting that that's going to happen for you, and having patience. We are like the most impatient, like, race in the universe. Like this,
absolutely.
We want things to happen immediately. We want to feel better immediately. We want situations to work themselves out immediately. Slow the hell down. Like, it's gonna be fine. But if you don't have patience, you're going to be all worked up for no reason.
And you're not going to get it right now, and it probably won't be completely better right now. And that's okay. And I want you to think about those times in your life when things have, you know, you went through those really rough periods, and you can kind of take a step back and look at everything when you have some perspective on that. And, you know, I think then those are those times when we look at that and we go, oh, so that's why that happened. Or, you know, that really allowed me to be able to do this, or whatever that looks like for you. But we've all had those moments, and maybe right now you're just in the middle of that growth process and working through some stuff.
Yeah, growing feels a lot like drowning. It's always like that, like I don't really know what's happening, but I'm wading through a lot of water right now, and I'm hoping that there's land on the other side, but I'm not real sure. So know that in those moments, like, it's a really good thing, because you are getting more in alignment with who you are and who you're supposed to be. You're getting more clear about what you want in your life, and that's the time to do it. So when it's messy, it's actually good for you.
Right.
It's like a boost to the next level. So, you know that in the back of your head, that things are going to get better, and that's the piece that has to happen for things to change for you.
Right. It's kind of like working out, right? You know, it kind of, especially at first, really sucks when you're doing it, right? But when you get the results later, you're like, oh, all right.
I'm glad I did that. Glad I just kept,
and
glad
then
I
keep
kept
going
going
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep your resiliency. Sometimes make a list. I write down a list of things like, wow, I survived like Y2K. I totally got this. Or no, but really make a list of things that you've been through worse. Like, let's be honest. I think everybody's been through worse than whatever this week is throwing at you. So hang in there.
Quite frankly, you're all superheroes, and you know it. I mean, the stories that I hear from everybody, the things that we've all survived is amazing. You can get through this.
And if you want to feel like a superhero, wear a cape in public and then send us the video. There's no bad ideas. So if you need help with your bad week, we have plenty of services to get you going, to keep you in a good space. But we hope that, and we're going to set our intention that, you have a wonderful week.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.